3, 2, 1. Okay. Hello and welcome. Hello, everyone, and welcome. And thank you so much for being here. We are live. Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. I am Otis Landerholm. I'm your host. I'm also the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. I'm grateful to have you here with me. It is a beautiful Thursday, all right? Here in the Bay, the San Francisco Bay Area is where I am located, Oakland, California, to be specific. And hello, everyone. So today our theme is common problems in marriage-based green card cases, all right? And so if you are filing for a green card through marriage, you know, pay attention. You want to be aware of, you want to be out ahead of the common problems in marriage-based green card cases. And so welcome to everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We are live, all right? We are live, so welcome. If you have a question, we've received several questions already, but if you have a question, you know, please submit it. Please send it to me. I would love to answer your questions, all right? So let me know what they are and send it to me in the chat or in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them live right here today. So today, again, our theme is common problems in green card and marriage-based green card cases. And my question for you is, do you want a green card? All right, like is now the time? Are you ready to come out of the shadows or to apply for a green card? Because if so, I would love to help you with that. All right, my firm is on a mission to win 10,000 cases by 2035. I'd love for your case to be one of them. And so feel free to give us a call if that is right for you. We'd love to meet with you, okay? Thank you to everybody who asked their questions. As always, we'll discuss this topic first in English, and then we'll do it in Spanish, okay? Normally, I do what I call an empowerment tip at the beginning of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Today, though, I want to talk about some breaking news, okay? Like, there's some breaking news, folks. Breaking news. I don't know if you saw in the news, I don't know if you heard this, but it's regarding DACA. The DACA regulations that we've now been waiting for a year have finally been published. They were published yesterday. And so that's big news, everybody. It's big news. And I want to take a moment to describe it, and then we'll get into our topic for today. So what that publication says is that it's basically reaffirming the way the DACA program was originally created as, right? For children, for people who entered the United States before the age of 16, all right? And there's several different eligibility criteria. It's the exact same in this memo as it was when DACA was first announced back in 2012. But what it's saying is this new process that they've gone through, the regulatory process, will have regulations go into effect on October 31st. October 31st of this year, if the Southern District Court in Texas lifts its injunction over the DACA program. So right now, so this is like a legal, it's kind of a legal craziness, right? And you've heard DACA in the news a lot, and it's going to continue to be in the news between now, especially in April and October 31st. But I just wanted to give you a heads up. We've been waiting for the government to produce these final regulations. Now that's done. Now they're set to go into effect October 31st, but it'll only really go into effect if the judge in the Southern District in the District Court of Southern Texas lifts its injunction. And so we're going to find out. We're going to find out if that goes happen. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for the news about DACA. I just wanted to share it today. And if you have questions related to DACA, we will do an episode in the coming, maybe even next week. We'll squeeze one in specifically about this issue because we have a lot of folks that are eligible for DACA and just waiting for this thing to pass. All right, that's all I'm going to say about the news that just came out yesterday evening. So now I want to get into the theme today. Are you ready for that? So common problems in marriage-based green card cases. Okay? Common problem number one. All right, common problem number one. Sometimes spouses are not on the same page. All right? Who here is married? All right, you can see my wedding ring. Yes, I am married. Marriage is a opportunity, challenge, a exercise in communication. All right? The more effectively both parties communicate, the better the marriage is, the healthier the marriage is. Okay? When sometimes, in any relationship on planet Earth, sometimes there's disagreement. Sometimes people aren't on the same page, right? In every marriage, right? And, you want to, for the sake of the case especially, you want to be on the same page as much as possible at the time of your green card interview. Okay? And really throughout the process, you want to stay in communication so that you can stay on the same page. The way to get on the same page, of course, is to stay in communication. Here's the thing. Immigration officials, they're trained to be skeptical about marriage. I wish it weren't this way, but it is this way. All right? Immigration officials are trained to be like, hey, you're lying about your marriage, aren't you? Right? They're like, they are skeptical about people's marriages. And they're trained to be skeptical about people's marriages. And you got to go in knowing that. All right? So you want to do everything possible to be on the same page when you go into your interview. Like, practice about what the questions. Hopefully you're practicing with your lawyer before you go to that kind of interview. I also recommend, do something memorable with your spouse the day before, the weekend before, right? Before the interview, because they'll ask, hey, where were you yesterday? Where were you a couple of days ago? What are you guys doing? They'll compare your answers. So do something that you would remember. Go on a hike together. I don't care what it is. Go on a hike together. Go for a picnic together. There have been some cases where I hey, make love together, right? Are you married or aren't you? Right? And do something, right? Do something. Be a married, do whatever you do as a married couple before your interview so that it's and be in communication. Okay? All right, there we go. So that's really the first and biggest, most fundamental challenge that sometimes comes up in a marriage-based green card case. Common problem number two, which is totally preventable, is you got to fill out your forms and your information correctly. All right, you got to just do it correctly. Don't do this. I really don't recommend. Don't do this on your own. And don't do this with an amateur. Do it right. Okay? Many cases get denied or get sent what we call an RFE, a request for additional evidence, because something wasn't completed or because some required document wasn't provided. Sometimes, it can be really frustrating when this happens, sometimes it's the government's error. Sometimes we sent the documents and it's, sometimes we sent the documents and the government misplaced them. All right, and then we got to send back, hey, no, this is the scan of exactly what was in that envelope, and it was included. It's on page 65 of our packet, right, for this green card government. So, so sometimes an RFE is given in error, but sometimes it's just avoidable by paying extra attention to the details in the USCIS instructions. Okay? All right, cool. Common problem number 3, and this is maybe the most important one to screen for. Common problem number 3 really is people are applying for green cards when they're not eligible for them. If there is a legal problem, a problem in the legality of the green card application, like whoops, all right, that's a big problem. You don't, you don't want to go through the process and apply for a green card if you're not clear about the legal eligibility, legal requirements. Very common one. If you have a quote-unquote permanent bar, all right, where you were unlawfully here in the U.S. for more than a year, and then you left. Oh, I just left to visit my aunt and uncle. My aunt was sick. I needed to see her. Like, there's situations, right? And then if you re-enter unlawfully after a visit where you've left out of the United States, it triggers a permanent bar. Okay? We could discuss the law. It's section 212A9C, right? It's the permanent bar. Causes a serious problem, and there are other problems too, using marijuana, using any controlled substance. There are many other inadmissibility issues too. To screen for that, like really do a full consultation with a lawyer first. All right? Good. Common problem number 4 is you're filing the wrong process. When there are process problems, that, it causes confusion and it slows down your whole process. When someone's married to a U.S. citizen, there's 2 ways to do it. All right? The 2 big processes, legal processes, one is called adjustment of status, and the other is called consular processing. And they're very different. There's different forms, there's different eligibility criteria, they're different processing times. They're in front of 2 completely different agencies. All right? And those 2 agencies really don't communicate with each other. Okay? It's very inefficient, the communication between these 2 agencies. So you want to know which process is the best process for you, and you want to stick with that process from the beginning so that we're clear. We're going down the path that's going to be the best path in your case. All right? Now, just to clarify, if you're here in the U.S., if you were inspected and admitted, if you entered lawfully, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, and if you're not inadmissible, you probably are eligible for, and your best process is adjustment of status straight up in front of USCIS. If you're watching me, if you're in the U.S., chances are we're looking for that process. And if you weren't lawfully inspected and admitted, if you crossed the border without permission, whatever, right? You're not, with some exceptions, you're not going to be eligible to adjust your status. So instead, we got to do that other process. We've got to file your case with the U.S. consulate in your home country. It's a different process completely, and there's different forms and evidence and things like that involved, all right? And so if there's any doubt about which process is the right process for you, like, please talk it through first. Talk it through first, okay? So common problem number 5. This is my last one that I want to address today. And it's similar to number 1, but being on the same page is one thing. Common problem number 5 is actually like marital problems / divorce. Okay? Many marriages end in divorce. And I don't want that to be you. And, as you go through the process, really focus on your relationship. Give that relationship attention. Treat your significant other as the most valuable, the most important person in your life. Like, are they that or aren't they? Right? Because I hope that they are that. You want your marriage to be great, right? And if you want your marriage to be great, like really work on it. Work on the marriage, right? You can make it there. As I said at the beginning, there will be disagreements. Don't avoid disagreements. All right? It's okay that there are disagreements. But, when you welcome them, you say, hey, look, I disagree with what you said. I disagree with what you did, but I love you and I love who you are. Right? What you said or what you did might be the minor thing. Okay? Who you are is the major thing. Right? And so, and it's that can be tough, right? That can be tough. For me personally, I'm in love with my wife. All right, I'm in love with my wife, very much so. I also know that my father was in love with my mother when they were my age, when I was young, when I was a child, and my parents eventually got divorced. All right, so this is real. All right, this is real. This is a tough truth. All right, and seeing that, it shook me up. Right, and so I want to, for my children's sake, I want to be very, I don't want to overdo it either, but I want to really take time and effort to stay on the same page, to stay in great communication, to create a loving, healthy, good dynamic between my wife and I for our kids' sake, for our future's sake. Right? It's like, anyway, maybe that's too much information, but maybe it's useful. I don't know. Maybe it's useful. Treat your marriage well. All right? Like the bottom line of everything that I want to say is, if you want to get a marriage-based green card to avoid all issues and to just make it happen, number 1, treat your marriage well. All right? Communicate. Bring energy, attention, bring love to the relationship. And number 2, treat your case seriously. Like, hire a law firm who knows what they're doing, who can minimize or eliminate any error, and make sure that you're 100% clear and eligible from the outset, so you're filing the right strategy from the outset. If you do those 2 things, you're probably going to win. All right? The rest of it isn't that complicated. All right? But if you could do those 2 things, focus on the marriage and focus on, working with a smart, capable law firm, boom, the rest is easy. The medical exam is easy, right? The work permit, the travel document, the advanced parole requests, the biometrics appointment, all of that stuff is like the easy stuff. If you just focus on the 2 big things, really the rest is nothing to worry about. Okay? even the interview. It's hey, if you've got those two things going on, heck, throw any interview at us. Throw us the worst officer on planet Earth, USCIS. We'll handle it. You'll win the case. Okay? If you take those two things, your marriage and your case, and you treat them, right? Your marriage, your relationship with your spouse, your case, your relationship with your lawyer, if you handle those two things, boom, the rest of it's simple, right? It makes it nothing to worry about, really. Okay? So, awesome. I hope that was okay. I hope that was clear and useful. I really do. And hey, please send me feedback, comments, send me your questions. In fact, right now I want to get into the questions. So the first question that I have here comes from Timur. All right, Timur, thank you for your question. You say, I need an appointment to discuss my options. I've fallen out of F1 student status. Okay? And so thank you, Timur. I really appreciate that. Just out of a sheer, I kind of want to explain who I am and what my office does, right? Because the truth is that my office might not be the best firm for you in your situation, Timur. Thank you for asking it. My office can help. For example, if you are interested in filing for asylum, if you're afraid for your life to go back to your country, my office could help if you are married to a U.S. citizen or have a family member who could petition for you. My office could help if you've ever been the victim of a crime here in the United States, right? But my office does not do, at least at this current moment, we do not do employment-based or investment-based immigration, right? My office is here. We fight for the rights of immigrants who are facing deportation, which it doesn't sound like that's you right now, okay? And if you are afraid for your life to go back to your country, hey, give us, we'd love to help you. In fact, everybody can call our office and we give a free evaluation to absolutely everybody, just to help you assess also, hey, is there a case that our office could help you with? Okay? So I hope that was helpful. We received another call kind of like that. Johnny, I see your question here also. You say you operate a residential care facility for the elderly and you're in need of caregivers. You want to sponsor visas for some caregivers. That's not my expertise. Right? I wish I could help you. That's not what I can do, at least at the current moment. But I do know some great immigration attorneys who really do that. And so I'd love to connect with you anyway, and we can get you the help that you need. Okay? So I also see, let's see here. I see a question from Iris. All right, Iris, thank you for your question. You say, I arrived to Virginia in 2001. I got a U visa in 2010. All right. I got some charges against me during the 3 years with my U visa, and then they denied my green card application. It sounds like they wanted more information about the charges, and then there was a problem with your lawyer or something like that, and so now you're in that situation. And so Iris, thank you for that. Thank you for that. The first step in a case like the one that you have is we've got to see exactly what happened at the end of the day with those charges, and we've got to see what happened at the end of the day with the U visa. Okay? You might be better recommended to just refile the U visa, which you can do, and I'd love to help you through that. We've done that before. If a U visa was denied in the past, it doesn't mean you can't reapply in the future, especially if it was denied based on discretionary stuff or based on a lack of evidence at that time, because in the now after years have passed, you might have more evidence. Hopefully, do have more evidence to show things in your favor, right? To show that you warrant a favorable exercise of discretion. All right, Mr. Tusk, I see you there. Let me see here. You have a question. You say, good day. You say, what qualifies someone to not have an interview for removal of conditions, the I-751? My best advice is to assume you're going to have an interview on it, okay? Just assume you're going to be interviewed. You be prepared in case there is an interview. If the immigration officer says this is a clearly approvable case, 0 interview required, you've shown the evidence involved, yes, in their discretion, they can approve an I-751 even without an interview. Okay? Shrethsa, I see your question here. Do you help with TPS expiring soon? Absolutely, yes. Please give us a call. Quinn, I see your question here. If the U.S. citizen spouse has previously sponsored another immigrant with the marriage ending in divorce, will that be a problem? That's a great question. So you gotta end the previous marriage lawfully before you enter the new marriage in order for the new marriage to be lawful, right? Otherwise, there's bigamy, right? There's a problem with if there's two legal marriages happening at the same time. And so that's one thing. Got to make sure that the previous marriage ended lawfully and then start the new marriage lawfully. And you're just going to need to document the marriage and the situation. Like when there's that situation, USCIS will ask more questions about it. All right? They will want to know, hey, wait a second, was that first marriage like a fake or a sham or something like that? Because if it was, that's going to cause a problem. All right? And let's make sure to document that the current marriage is legitimate, quote unquote, bona fide, meets the standards that USCIS requires. Okay? All right, I also see one by Christina. Christina, thank you for your question. I refuse to get vaccines for the green card. Would you help file a religious exemption to someone like me? That is possible, Christina. That is possible. There are ways around the vaccine requirement. And so it is doable. All right, it is doable. It does require more work, and more work sometimes requires, unfortunately, more cost. All right, but that's going to be anywhere. That is the reality. But you still have the right to present your case and to go through the process. You do have the right to refuse vaccines. Okay, and COVID-related vaccine. I mean, the government has its policies for a reason, but and so the simplest way around it is to comply with the government policies, and people do have the right to, it's like people's autonomy matters, right? So if you don't believe in a vaccine, then don't do it. And we just got to put in extra work, and you got to understand that's what that will require. Agree with policies or not, is like that is what the policy is, and to get around it does cause a challenge sometimes. All right, but so what, right? So what? You can still do it. So anyway, Christina, I hope that was helpful for you for that question, and I very much, I appreciate your asking that question. That's a great one. All right, everybody, those were my questions today, and so that's all we got time for today. I need to get into my to doing this in Spanish. Thank you for everyone on Instagram. I see lots of folks, Maro and P. Perez, Carlos, Gaga Stical, is that right? Hola on Instagram, gracias, hello, everybody on Instagram, hello. And TikTok, Hello, YouTube, Facebook. Hello. Thank you all so much for being here with me. I really appreciate it. And it's the 25th of August. We'll see you next week on the next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. I meant to say, as always, if this is useful, please subscribe to our channel. If you do still have a question, please do submit it. I'd love to answer that question. I'll upload them, as we always do, to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe and hit the notifications bell to receive those. And if you've got an immigration case, hey, our office is here to help. We'd love to talk to you. We're just a phone call away, folks. All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks so much. See you next time on another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Thank you. Bye-bye.